Hi there, brick builders. Today we get a bit heroic. We have a look at the Aipin chess book, the superhero chess book, or better, the Avengers chess book. And yes, all the figurines you see here are part of a chess board and also part of a hero book. Every figurine has a chess figure on his back or on the cape, and you really could play chess on this thing, but that's something for later. And yes, it's a hero book, and I guess a lot of you had bad experiences with hero books from China, and I've seen videos from other YouTubers that prove that, so I wasn't expecting much. I was pleasantly surprised to see that this book at least holds together and at least pretends to get closed properly if you want to. But don't get me wrong, this isn't perfect by any stretch of the imagination. It's not even good, but it's not as bad as I had suspected. So what we have here is the Aipin 3901, the superheroes chess book with about 1507 pieces and of course 32 minifigs. It's labeled to start for 6-year-olds, but I highly doubt that. But first things first, let's look at the instructions. And there all steps are grayed out, only the current step is shown in color. The color is the main problem, or one of the main problems of these instructions, since the colors are often wrong. The flat silver, the golden, and all the other colors, you really need to have a look what you got to imagine what you need to install there or to put in there. The other big problem with those instructions is that you got 1500 pieces and only 42 pages of instructions. They handle that in that they put up to 8 steps on one page, and as you've seen, these pages are not big. They're even half letter size. So you got your 42 pages and 120 steps on those, and you got 22 packages there, but it doesn't really work. You really have to open everything. Here we have a look at the party trick of this set. On the one side of the box you got the Avengers logo, on the other side you got the Justice League logo. These are separate assemblies which you can easily undo and put to one side. Underneath those we got a checkerboard in red and black. You got the rim in the back there, but you can put the whole assembly on a table and put the figurines like chess figurines. Here we got the leftover parts. There are a lot of them, and maybe now you see why I wrote the 32.5 figurines in the starting page, since there's almost a complete figurine that is in these leftover pieces. I guess I did a arm or some hands, and that was all I had to do to complete the last figurine. And here we got our brick separator, a really soft one. And that's what arrived at me in a grey box. I pack it with all the pieces in there and the little instruction book, and that's mainly what I got. So what's interesting here? The first thing is there's no glue in there, at least not in the pieces, because I bought the set for parts and not to have a hero book there, because I don't need a hero book. I wanted the figurines and I wanted the tiles, basically the figurines not as hero figurines, which we'll see in a second, but for the city to have people in there. As I said, it's astounding that the set holds together that well. There is of course some bending in there for the big plates and all the tiles in there. That was expected, and what I didn't expect was that I had to file pieces down because they didn't really match up where they had to be in there, at least for the logo assemblies there. And also the usage as a chess game. I'm out there since maybe I could see the symbols on the backs, but I don't know which is white and which is black. I guess only someone who's very familiar with these Avengers could tell that right away, so I'm not that person, so I don't know. And since we are already in the building phase, let's have a look at the figurines and their metamorphosis. First we have Aquaman, who will become a nice and muscular woman to get any diversity delight. Next we got Arrow, who will become an evil gunman who might not be the brightest light on the tree, at least judging by his gun-holding skills. Now we have our old friend Batman, who quickly becomes a deeply suntanned worker with an attitude. And then we have Black Panther, who resurfaces as a violent zombie, not so smooth as once. Here we have Black Widow, who becomes a racer directly from hell. And here we have Captain America, who becomes a correctly gendered power Amazon, which you might find occupying a tree or even doing a blockade for the future. Then we have Cletus Cassidy transforming into a mad racing kind of monster, fast and furious, I guess. Now we have Deathstroke, who gets a bit older but not much less deadly, or maybe anyway due to the style of gun he's carrying. That's old school. This is now Doctor Strange, who becomes a charming female being with lots of potential. And here comes our old friend Flash, who does a metamorphosis into a real dangerous pet. And then we have Green Lantern, who becomes a racing hero. After that there is Hank Henshaw. He's becoming a normal guy with a Superman t-shirt just to keep his chest covered. And then here we got Harley Quinn, or more the later Harley Quinn, who is on her way to become a real firefighting addition to any community. There is not much to say about what happened to Hawkeye Barton. He became the nice guy from next door and every mother-in-law's darling. Here we got the Incredible Hulk, who gets quite a bit more normal in some kind of Hulk Hogan appearance. And this is Iron Man, who becomes a green-faced Martian. Now there is Joker, who gets funny for a change, and I mean real funny, or maybe he'll sit down in front of a piano and have some nice tunes for us. Next, the Martian Manhunter becomes a friendly guy from next door. He even reminds me of Ned Flanders. At least a little. Once again we have Iron Man, this time in his Mk-15 armor. He's becoming somewhat like a posh hipster. And another Iron Man, this time in its Mark 18 suite, becoming a skater dude ready for action. This is Nightwing, who becomes a humanoid robot, vastly superior to any human and incredibly helpful for old ladies crossing the street. And then we have Robin, who got a new career as a firefighter. Next, it's Shazam, who took his helmet to the classic races. And then there's our old friend Spider-Man, who got rid of all his spidery stuff and moved over to be a festive bird face. And then our blonde-haired and mustached friend Star-Lord discovers his feminine side and becomes a fine young lady ready for action. Here Superman really becomes Ken Clark as a Superman fan and a somewhat crafty guy with glasses. And now we have Thor, who becomes a nice blonde lady. Okay, she might look a bit hammered, but she is still nice anyway. And here we have Two-Face, who put his baseball cap on just to be nice to anybody. And here we got Venom, who put on his dancing suit and became the green-headed party monster he always wanted to be. He can't really stay away from himself too much. And then there's Vision becoming a blonde and bearded veteran who will tell the kids stories for hours on end. Maybe those include also Avengers. Once upon a time. And here again we got Captain America, this time in his Winter Soldier outfit, who becomes a nice and old tin guy who knows all the old stories best. Finally we got Wonder Woman, who gets a real personality makeover. No, she's not getting a guy, quite the contrary. She stays muscular, but gets a very feminine face and a real lovely haircut. Say hello to the little girl. So what's the result? Okay, the set has about 1500 pieces and costed me about 41 euros. That's about 3 pieces per euro, that's okay. I guess the bricks had been built by Kunlun. At least the flat silver and the gold look like Kunlun quality, which is of course better than a year ago, but there are still some pieces that only hold together by gravity, but at least only the decoration is gonna fall if you handle the set, and it holds together by itself, which is something I didn't suspect. On the other hand, the fitting is, I can't even describe it, it's terrible. It's really terrible. I had to file the pieces down to make them fit where they should belong to, and I don't think that's something in 2022 that should happen. As well as the tiles do have scratches on there. That's not as bad as it sounds. A lot of those tiles are real good usable, and they even do fit and do hold together, so that's a bonus. Speaking of bonuses, none of that is the instructions. It is small. It's about a third of letter format, and in this space they cramped up to 8 steps to push in there. The steps themselves don't have too many pieces in there. As said, there are 120 steps in there for 1500 pieces. That is not too much considering you got a chessboard in there, which already has 2 pieces per square. And once you have mastered the size, there is the other problem, which is the sequence in which you should build the set. You often do something like air building, so nothing is connected, and it should be better in many cases to put things together as they belong, and that would be much easier in not a lot of cases in there. Also, the viewing angle is not always perfect, and the colors don't differentiate a lot or good enough that you easily can differentiate which piece is which piece, especially if you got a 1x1 or a 1x2 or something like that. Mainly the problem comes with the colors and the instructions. These are off. These are off a lot. These are off with the silver, these are off with the gold, even with the black. And then there are the assembly stuff. There are packages with numbers on them, at least in the instructions, but there are no numbers on them in the real world, so that you don't really have any help in which package you're gonna get what. Coming to the figs. I guess that Aipin doesn't have a license for those Avengers and Justice League figurines. I highly doubt that. They are also looking much like Lego figurines from the outside. They are not as like Lego figurines from the inside. At least the body and the feet are connected differently than Lego does that. So I have to say the Lego way works better. I had to glue some of the figurines together to have them stay as they should, at least in a city surrounding where they may have been handled or may have to be handled with kids. But it seems that it is not like a stolen mock or something like that. It seems like Aipin really had done this by themselves. As a chess game, this is mediocre at best. First of all, you open the chess game and you got the back of the book in the middle as a divider. It doesn't fold off or something like that. Then the fields themselves don't have any stats on them, so if you wanted to fixate the figurines on there, you're out of luck basically. And the third problem is there are printed on the back of each figurine what chess figurine it should be used as, but first you can see that only from one side, and secondly you don't know which is white and which is black. As you have seen, all the figurines have different colors. I guess if you are a Justice League or Avengers expert, you should easily divide them. But at least the values of the figurines, the chess values, you can see just from the behind. So it's a bit hard to play chess with a figurine and if you don't know if it's a pawn or it's a bishop that's coming at you. So what you're gonna do with the set, to me, displaying it would something be for a marble fan, but I don't think the figurines are good enough to do that. And for playing, you really need a lot of glue with the figurines, but I don't know what to play with them without the figurines there. So it's really for parts that you use this set here, and for parts it's okay. You get a lot of tiles, mainly black and red ones, and you get a lot of figurines, which you may or may be not alter in a style like you've seen here in this video. So it's real the part out value that makes this set attractive. But that's it for another video. If you liked what you have seen, please press the like button. If you didn't like what you have seen, please comment me that. And if you really like the stuff we do on this channel and want to have something like this every week, please subscribe. So have fun building, have fun watching, have fun playing, and see you!